Have you ever thought about what it would be really like to eat completely with the seasons, using food you grew yourself? Today, we're diving into a source that's way more than just a recipe book. It's more like a philosophy for a way of life, one that connects us right back to the soil and the rhythm of the year. So let's dig in. And it all kicks off with this simple but really powerful idea. The author, Caroline Bretherton, points out that the real joy of gardening isn't just about the food you harvest. No, it's about the entire journey. Watching those first little seedlings poke through the soil, taking care of the plants, and then finally, gathering the rewards of all your hard work.
So, what is it that makes someone want to spend their weekends covered in mud? I mean, really? The book's introduction gets right to the heart of that question. It explores the deep, personal satisfaction you get from looking after your own little patch of land.
I love this quote because it completely reframes what we think of as hard work. It's not about being exhausted in a bad way. It's that good kind of tired, you know? The kind that comes from making something real with your own two hands. Just imagine how you'd feel after a long day planting potatoes, knowing you actually accomplished something tangible.
But it's not just about the satisfaction of the work. There's another huge payoff. The garden becomes your sanctuary. The author talks about that quiet moment in the evening when you can just sit back, look at what you've created, and feel all the stress of the day just melt away. It's a connection to nature that's pretty hard to beat.
Now, this whole idea of connecting with nature, it's not just a nice thought. It's actually the backbone of the entire cookbook. The whole thing is built around following the natural calendar. So you won't find chapters for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Nope, this is organized by the 4 distinct seasons of the growing year.
And this timeline just lays out that rhythm perfectly. Spring gives you all those fresh, tender first crops like asparagus and peas. Then summer hits, what the author calls a florid abundance, which is just perfect, and you're swimming in tomatoes and berries. Autumn brings the hardy stuff like pumpkins and apples. And you know what? Even in the dead of winter, the garden is still giving you things like broccoli and leeks.
So here's the crucial point. It's all about synergy. It's about letting the garden tell you what's for dinner, not the other way around. It's such a simple idea, but it's also pretty profound. It means you're always cooking with what's at its absolute peak, the freshest, most flavorful stuff you can possibly get your hands on. Okay, so that's the big picture. But how does this actually work in practice? Let's zoom in on a true superstar of springtime to see how the book guides you from the dirt all the way to the dinner table. And yes, we're talking about asparagus. The book gives you the complete playbook. It tells you exactly when to harvest your asparagus for the best flavor, the right way to store it so it stays fresh, and, this is key, what to do when you have way too much of it, with easy tips for preserving it in oil or just sticking it in the freezer. And this is where it all comes together. Look at that. On the left, you've got the raw ingredient, fresh out of the ground. And on the right, the absolutely glorious result. This journey, from harvest to hollandaise, really captures what the book is all about, turning your hard work into something truly special.
You see, the recipes are designed to do just that. Make your homegrown vegetables the hero of the meal. A dish like this zesty asparagus pasta isn't just a side dish. It's the main event, and it's built completely around that intense, amazing flavor you only get from produce that was picked just hours ago.
Now, any gardener will tell you that success can bring its own unique challenge. I'm talking about the glut, that moment in late summer when you can't possibly eat another zucchini. Well, the book dedicates a ton of space to solving this exact problem.
This really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? You've put in all this time and energy, and you don't want a single piece of that incredible harvest to go to waste. So what do? Well, the cookbook comes through with a whole arsenal of solutions. We're talking jams, chutneys, pickles, relishes. You can dry things, freeze them, and it even gets into old-school methods like storing root vegetables in boxes of soil. It's a complete toolkit for making that summer abundance last all year long. And just think about what this really means. A jar of preserved pears like these, that's not just fruit. You've essentially bottled the taste of autumn. You're capturing that flavor so you can open it up and enjoy it during the cold, lean months of winter. You're creating your own library of flavors.
So let's bring it all back together. What's the ultimate takeaway from this whole philosophy of growing, cooking, and preserving your own food? Well, it comes right back to that deep sense of fulfillment we started with.
This quote from the author just says it all, doesn't it? The reward has so many layers. There's the health benefit of eating chemical-free food. There's the money you save by growing your own. But honestly, the biggest thing is that profound, personal satisfaction you get from being so connected to the food that you eat.
Ultimately, it's all about this journey. It's about the tools in your hands, the patience you learn along the way, and the amazing results they bring across all the different seasons, from autumn pumpkins to winter cauliflower. It's a complete, beautiful cycle of work, waiting, and delicious reward.
And that brings us to the end of our explainer. But really, it feels more like a beginning. Seeing how this all comes together, from a patch of soil to a beautiful meal on the table, it just leaves us with one big, inspiring question to think about. What will you grow this year?